السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. يرحمك الله. Last week we started talking reflecting Surah Al-Qiyamah. We were reflecting on how there are those who do not believe in the resurrection, coming back to life, and how throughout the Quran they have different excuses why they do not believe as such. Example, they say, well, there were those who died a long time before us, but they never came back. We have no history on anybody coming back. So the point is, they are talking about an issue they should believe in, with trying to make it make sense of some kind of experiment or observation that they had. And that is incorrect thinking, meaning that if there's something that you say you believe in, therefore you cannot contain with your senses. Because once you contain something with your senses, you cannot say, I believe in it. You can say, I know, okay, because I have seen it, I touched it, I heard it, I tasted it, I felt it, you know. So now, when do we, as human beings, believe in something? When there is a source that is authentic. Okay, so if someone comes to us and say, there is something such and such happening in such and such place. If the person is familiar with us, then we will evaluate what he's saying by our evaluation of him. So we say he is a man who is sane, a man who is trustworthy, a man with good memory, a man that has plenty of good qualities. We've never experienced a lie from him. Therefore, we take his word for it. So we believe what he said is correct. However, if this person we've never seen before, okay, and then he comes and gives us information that is really, we have to just believe as it is. It is difficult to do that. It is difficult. Therefore, he's got to do something before he gives us the information. Okay? Got to do something that is so convincing and prove that he is telling the truth here. Then we'll say, okay, we'll believe in what you're saying. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. For Allah is the best of examples that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing at the beginning of the surah. Say, you have doubt that I can bring your bone together? I can do that, but now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us now something to prove to those. We do not need to approve. The Quran is enough. If we know it is from the Quran, we believe. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to disbelievers here. Not only that, but I can, create your fingertips again. So the disbelievers will say, okay, but what do you mean? Create our hands again. We're talking about bones and this and that. So what is the hand has to do with any this part of this whole story? But now, if you examine what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is a miracle. This is something, look at it. I did this, and you don't even know the miracle in it. Okay, meaning that you need to investigate to know. You can know by looking at it and see how perfection this hand is in the way of function and so forth. But also, as we know, many things, the fingerprints and so forth. The point that we open our phone now, okay, by the fingerprint, because it is unique. And not only that, the one who designed the phone designed it in a way that the assumption is that your fingerprint is unique. You understand that? It is a submission to that fact. Submission to that fact. Okay? They're what they created something, okay, according to the creation of Allah. That they found out that the fingerprint as such. So nobody will be able to open your phone except you, and so forth. So again, it is when a messenger comes, he's got to produce a miracle so people can believe. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us here. There are miracles, I'm telling you, there are miracles here. And I'm telling you, there are miracles in the Quran. I'm telling you that the Quran will still bring miracles so long that you are existing, that life is existing. The Quran would still bring you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we will show them our ayat. Okay? We'll show them our miracles, we will show it to them. فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. In the creation around them, in the universe, and within themselves. And this is part of within themselves. That these miracles that will keep coming and so forth. So now we will continue and see how now the discussion will go on. تفضل.
بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه يسأل أيان يوم القيامة.
جزاكم الله خير.
Nay, man desires to continue committing sins. He asks, when will be this day of resurrection?
Now, so what is the reason mankind is doing that? Okay. يريد بل يريد الإنسان. Okay. بل يريد الإنسان. Meaning that's not the issue. بل here is tell you what is the reality here. Okay. They're saying this and that. Okay. But come on, tell me what you mean here. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking them to tell what they mean. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them what they mean. بَلْ يُرِيدُ الْإِنسان. And this is so powerful. For a disbeliever to hear this is powerful. Okay? When you come to me and tell me make up something, and excuses, okay, and you are very convincing, and I tell you, no, you want, and I point of what you want. If I hit the nail on the head, as they say, you'll be amazed to know that I knew, okay, about what your core is, okay? Let us say something that you wanted to do, and it takes, 50 steps to get to, and you start with the first step, and I tell you right away, this is what you want, you'll be sort of shocked, okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what the reality is. بَلْ يُرِيدُ الْإِنسان. No, the insan wants what? يَفْجُرَ أَمَامَهُ. In front of him, meaning as he's going forward, يَفْجُر, meaning have fujur, meaning have no boundaries. No boundaries. Okay? If what is yesterday we talked about shyness in Jum'ah, about having haya, okay? And the principle of the idea was that Allah is watching you, therefore you should have haya. And you will have haya if you believe Allah is watching you, right? And Rasulullah ﷺ gave us the definition of haya, okay? That you protect what's in your head, you protect what's in around your tummy, okay? And you know that the day of judgment is coming, okay? And remember the day of judgment. So it's about being aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while you are using these facilities, if you will, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you. So you're thinking about something and you know is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of it. Then you'll have shyness. You'll have some haya. Okay? You know, you want to say something and you know Allah can hear you, you have haya. Okay? You're eating something that's not proper and Allah is watching you. You have haya. Be shy of this. You want to commit something, a sin, and you know Allah is watching you and so forth. So you remember that there is a day of judgment, a day of accountability and so forth. So you will have haya because you remember that day and so forth. So the point being is that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you, this haya is existing with you. So imagine a person who do not believe in the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? And do not believe in that day of accountability, right? An atheist will not have any kind of morals, period. Because they bring things back to what? To action and reaction, chemicals reactions together and so forth, right? They take the conscious out of the matter that they think about, all matters, right? Why there is, in the West, there is some kind of still, haya and hesitation of doing things and so forth, generally in the public, is because of there is remaining of Christianity, okay, however it is corrupted and so forth, but it is still, God exists and so forth, right? They carry that some kind of value. Not even going to any religion, period, okay? Any religion, even man-made religions, and so forth. Okay, the way to God is this and that, but so long that they believe there is existence of a creator, there is some kind of watchfulness here, right? Imagine a person that does not believe that any entity watching him, no creator that's watching him, okay? Therefore, fujur will be there. That is what fujur is. بل يريد أن يفجر أمامه. يفجر meaning there is no boundaries whatsoever. Okay? Whatever it is that you feel like doing this and that, and you put your own rules and regulation, there is no one that will put this regulation or limitation on you. So see how the connection is. بل يريد أن يفجر أمامه يسأل أيان يوم القيامة. They tell you when is that day. Another word, they are arguing about it. They say it does not exist. So this is the connection. That day is not going to be there, so therefore I can do anything that I want. Okay? And the concept of taking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of the equation, there are those who are working very hard to do that in all matters. Okay? The Darwin theory, if you will, it is all about that. It is all about getting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of the creation. Right? That's what it is, right? That how humanity became, how the creation became. They want to find some kind of a theory to say that is possible that way. So therefore, they can يفجرون أمامهم. They have fujr. They can do anything that they wish, right? And they are very clever in that. Okay, so they bring some kind of rules. When you have a law, some kind of a law, they bring it out. A made up law, right? So if I say here is somebody said something, Sheikh Ibrahim, okay, listen, not Sheikh Ibrahim, because I'm going to say that he's telling a lie. Someone, okay, is saying something, okay. I'm going to put something. He said, so and so person, okay. The person will tell me, so and so person, let us say Ahmad, okay, came and told me such and such and such. Okay? So it is, we're going to put a label on it. It is the Khalid's rule, the Khalid's Ahmad rule. Okay? I'm going to give it that name. Now it is Khalid Ahmad rule. Okay? That is, and it's going to be written and in papers and so forth. That's Khalid Ahmad rule, and you're going to memorize what Ahmad said. Okay, that becomes a rule. Then somebody comes and says, Ahmad is in Africa. How could you tell me that Ahmad told you such and such? Okay. Then I tell you. Then Khalid will say, no, it is because there is a connection between me and Ahmad through the unknown, and give some clever word for it. Okay? And that would be a new rule. The new rule that it is the rule of Khalid Ahmad connection with the unknown such and such. And it becomes a law, and this is, we will put it in the books and so forth. Right? What is this? Okay, and then somebody else will come and says, I know Ahmad cannot speak at all. I know that for a fact. We all know that Ahmad cannot speak. How can Khalid say that? Then they're going to come up with a rule of the Khalid Ahmad connection with the unknown that's speechless. Okay? What does that mean? Okay? But when you put it in a very fine words like that, and some kind of authenticity to it, then everybody will refer to that law and be nothing. You're referring to, what are you referring to? Nothing. That's exactly what the theory of evaluation, the Darwin theory, yes, the Darwin theory is, okay? That's exactly what it is, right? They discover something, okay? And they tell you all kind of things and write books about it. And it turns out to be lies. Okay? And still in the books, and now they still refer to it and so forth. And that's it. It becomes, that's what it is. How could you? So no matter what happens, it is the idea itself. And the principle here is this, that when you want to reach a conclusion, you need to start from blank slate, okay? And then make the research and you reach a conclusion. That's honesty, right? However, if you have an existing desire for the result to become to have a certain particular result, and now you are starting the research, that is not honest, because you're going to tweak everything according to what you want to reach. Okay? That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the disbeliever, those who argue, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, sit by yourself or with someone else. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that specifically. Think by yourself or with someone, only one more person. Okay? And think about this man, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And is he crazy? Okay? So what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying here is when you by yourself, you can be honest with yourself, because you're not going to be exposed in front of anybody. And when you are two, there are no audience. You can say, no, I never said that, he's lying, right? Another word, it's still being protected here. You still are protected with you can speak openly if you will, but you can deny it. Okay? So if you're really honest, stay by yourself, think about it, or two, and discuss it, okay? And you'll know that he is not crazy. Okay? So this is it, that yuridu al-insan an yafjura amama. Okay? And then they ask, when is the day of Qiyamah? That's it. That is the core issue. It is to argue, not to reach the conclusion. It's to argue to deny it. Okay? Why? Because I want to follow my desires. That is the basic issue or principle that they are dealing with. تفضل.
فإذا برق البصر وخسف القمر وجمع الشمس والقمر يقول الإنسان يومئذ أين المفر.
جزاك الله خير.
So when the sight shall be dazed, and the moon will be eclipsed, and the sun and the moon will be joined together, on that day man will say, where to flee?
So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the disbelievers. The day, if you want to summarize that in one sentence, the day when that which is created in certain order, that order will disappear. Okay. Now that is a concept they can understand, right? The concept that they understand that if you look at things, all the creation around you, it's created with a certain order. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about al-basar first, okay? The vision and the way you see when something happened to it, okay? You know, those who are talking about Darwin's theory, they attack this idea, okay? They attack the idea of the vision because it is a miracle, right? It is a miracle. It is a miracle of how a person could see, right? So someone bright and making fun, you know, the person that comes in and say there is a mistake in the eyes. If we were creating the eyes, we wouldn't have done this, we would have done this and that. Really? Really? Okay? And you know, it is so, you know, naive and aggressive, okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look at this, look at your eyes, okay, and how you can see, okay? And you know there are those who cannot see, right? So this instrument that you have that is very delicate and very sensitive, and you know that, right? If a little bit of light here, you will not be able to see. So if there is a brightness, what is bariq? Bariq is flash. Okay, some flash comes in, is so bright and you cannot see. Barq is what is al-barq? Thunder. Okay, the lightning. Al-barq is the lightning. Yeah. Okay. Al-ra'd is thunder. Al-barq is lightning. Okay. So that instrument that you have, you know, and you cannot fool yourself. It could be sensitive, and it is sensitive to many things. So that day, this is a challenge. Okay, Allah is telling them, challenging, telling them, okay, and putting fear in them, that the day will come, and that which, regulating your vision, it will be disturbed, so you'll not be able to see, or you will see in a different way, or you'll be so overwhelmed that you will not see well. Okay, and then what happened? خسف القمر. Okay, when is an eclipse, at the old time, right? They say they don't know exactly what the eclipse is, scientifically, right? So there is a fear that comes to them. Something will happen. Okay, when the kusuf of the sun happened at the time of the child, the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibrahim, was buried, some kusuf to the sun happened. And now the companions, because of that culture, if you will, right? The culture of something happens unusual in the skies, right? Then there is some, it might be an effect on land here on the earth, right? So people get disturbed. They have a special dua, is this and that, and you see it in many cultures, right? So they said, there is that happened of sadness, some kind of a sadness to the skies and the sun and the earth and so forth, for the death of the son of Rasulullah. Rasulullah knew that this thought that will come to them, Rasulullah puts an end to this immediately at the time. That these are ayat from Allah, does not react to anything that happens in here. This has nothing to do with what's happening here, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, when the time, and you know what khusuf al-qamar is, right? You'll see this happen. And then not only that, وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. Okay? Now, جُمِعَ, what is jama'a? To be together. جُمِعَ what? الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ will be collected together. From the beginning of the creation, the sun and the moon are always separated like this, right? The sun and the moon, when they were created, the sun cannot handle, the sun has its job, the moon has its job, the sun comes in the day, the moon comes at night, and so forth. The sun has a sunrise and a sunset, the moon has a moonrise and a moonset, right? And we calculate the month by the moon, we calculate the time by the sun, the day by the sun, the month by the moon. You are familiar with that very well, right? So the disturbance that both will be together, how is that? And what kind of destruction that is going to be? And when is going to be a day and when is going to be a night? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again talking to them about the disturbance of the system here. And when that happens, it's not going to happen in a way that is nice and calm and so forth. At that day you will say, أَيْنَ الْمَفَرُ, that where I run to, where I'm going to be running to. That means that is going to be a chaos. Okay? It's going to be a chaos that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is measuring, is a chaos by measure. Okay, it's not just a chaos, right? A chaos to the disbelievers, but to us, it is, all of this is happening by a specific measure, a specific time, a specific, effect. Okay, so again, it is bringing humanity to think, or human being, to think that you are not in control. You are not, and you know this. You know what you are in control of is so little. Okay, from the hand that you have. Okay, that if something happened just to one finger, to the thumb, if your thumb gets cut off, you cannot function. Okay, you literally cannot function your normal life anymore. And you know that you call it accident happens, but what does that mean, accident happen? Meaning that which you do not expect will happen. That which you are not in control of will happen. You know that, okay? But it's all happened by the measure, by a specific measure. And you know the universe is created, and at one time it did not exist. And you know everything that is created has a creator. So look around you and you know there is a creator. And the creator, all he has to do is tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tell to whatever it is of action to happen, to be, and it will be there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not, لا يعالج الأشياء, does not fix things for things to happen, does not work things together in order for something to happen. When you are in need of something and I say, I'm going to help you, I need to exert an effort and to follow some instructions and see what you need and move and so forth to get the job done. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants something to happen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands it to be, and it is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala work is a command, is not an action as we know it as an action with us. So the time will come that that day will happen, will exist, that day of judgment, and will appear. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that no one knows it except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Period. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us indications of that day. But the day of judgment, it does not matter for a believer when the day of judgment is going to be, meaning that long or short, because we know that the qiyamah, our qiyamah is, or not long or short, or soon or far. But the day of our day of qiyamah is the day we die, the qiyamah as-sughra. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the hellfire or paradise is closer to you than the sole of your na'l, your shoe. What you are standing on, what you put in your foot. Okay, the Jannah or hellfire is closer to you than that. Imagine that. Okay, it means that once death is coming, the news will come with it of the destination, and the indication of it will happen in the grave. Okay, whether it is, or when the soul is coming out, that if, the punishment, how it is going to be, or the blessings and the bounty that is overwhelming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be. It will start. So the haqq al-yaqeen, okay, you will know where this destination is as soon as the angel of death comes. So for a believer, it doesn't matter when the day of Qiyamah is going to be, Because once we are in our grave, the day of Qiyamah will be either after a part of the evening or a part of the day, it seems like. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we were listening to Hamza yesterday, we kept talking about those who will be resurrected the day of Qiyamah, and they will be discussing among themselves, Kam labithtum, how long will you stay? Okay, and they will say, 10. Okay, then they will say 10, meaning 10 days, it seems like, right? Then the one who is most knowledgeable of them, and look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about them. The most knowledgeable among them, right? He will say, no, it's a day or a part of a day. Okay, a day or a part of a day. In other words, he's correct. They are closer to the truth than him, right? Meaning they're saying it is more, and he's saying, no, it is part of a day or part of, just less than that. Okay, so we know this. That's why we go back to the fact that if we are aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us, أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى, does he know that Allah sees? Okay, once we are aware of that, then the self-correction and the shyness will be there. The shyness will be there. We know our relationship with our elders as we were growing up, how we are shy in their presence, how we say that which is right, how we stay away from that which is wrong, how we are, being conscious, okay, of what we say and what we do and so forth, right? That should stay with us even more magnificent and more sensitive, because now we know it's not just a person like us, no, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who are always conscious that they are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Go ahead, inshallah, أخونا حميد, if you want to make a comment.
Today, Sheikh has explained everything in detail. I'm just going to summarize my understanding of these ayahs. We did 6 ayahs. Ayah number 5.
In case people who are watching online can listen, inshallah.
How do you turn this mic on, by the way?
Which one?
The one the hands held.
The handheld, there is a button on
Where?
below. You see this? For the antenna, there's a small button here. Press it, keep pressing it for a bit. And it turns on. There's light on the other side that turns on.
Okay, we were trying to figure out that day.
I actually put a label on it. On button, red button is on the bottom.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
I'm sorry.
No, but the others, you should see that. I'm joking with you.
This is good? Yeah, it is.
So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As I said, the Sheikh has explained everything in detail. I just want to summarize it in a very short period of time. And my understanding of these ayahs that we did today of Surah Al-Qiyamah, ayah number 5 to 10, means 6 ayahs we did today. And the very first ayah that begins today, ayah number 5, بَلْ يُرِيدُ الْإِنسَانُ لِيَفْجُرَ أَمَامًا. It means, but man desires to continue in sin. And like Sheikh explained, Fajr means to have no boundaries. Fujur means no boundaries. They want to keep on doing the things they are doing, especially this refers to the kuffar. Mainly because Ibn Abbas says, هو الكافر يكذب بيوم الحساب وهذا هو الأظهر من المراد وَلِهَذَا قَالَ بَعْدَهُ يَسْأَلُ أَيَّانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ. So this is the kafir who says that. And they keep on doing the thing, and they deny the existence of Qiyamah, means the day of judgment when you have to stand and give your accounting of your deeds. So if you just deny that day, that there is going to be a day of judgment, then you are free to do whatever you want. You don't want to get any restrictions, fujur. And that's how the word fajir comes, and they do whatever they want. So what here it really means is that the man, means the kafir, desires to continue in sin, whatever they are doing, sinning, so that without any bounds, they can keep on doing that. And the very reason the next ayah says is, يَسَأَلُوا أَيَّانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ. Now this, he is not asking when is the day of judgment, he is just making fun of it. That, previously we came across the same kind of ayahs, and he said, they were making jokes of this Yawm al-Qiyamah, and they were telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, if there is some day like that, then give us the date and time when it's coming, And jokingly, they are totally don't believe that there is anything here. Whatever the life of this world, that's what they believe in. So this is the ayah number 6. He asks, when is the day of resurrection? And this question is not to know when it is and about it, the truth about it. They're doing it jokingly, and they totally deny this thing. So the next ayah explains. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, ayah number 7 says, فَإِذَا بَرِقَ الْبَصَرُ. So when the vision is dazzled, and the Shaykh explained that the vision is something, is a miracle. So when you see something, you believe, So what will happen on that day? When they see the whole universe, the way they see it is all changed. Everything changes. Everything, their eyes are dazzled, just like if you see a lightning, your eyes get dazzled. The same way, when the day, all of a sudden, the whole universe will be changed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that we will bring, it will be new, everything new. The way the earth and everything we know will be changed. And the Shaykh explained that the sun and the moon, the next ayah comes, وَخَسَفَ الْقَمَرِ, and the moon darkens or eclipse, and وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرِ. And these are the earlier signs of the end of the world. You see, we are told, we know that in other places it comes that the sun will, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the sun will rise from the west, and the moon rises from the west and the sun rises from the east, but the whole thing will change, and that will be there. And then later on, both of them, just like the moon will have eclipse, because the moon is very important to the mushrikeen of Mecca, because they depended on the moon, a lot. And a lot of things were attached to them, things with the moon. So when the moon is eclipsed, and like the Sheikh said, they think that something bad is going to happen and all that. But we don't believe in something like this. There is no such thing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained that there is no connection with the eclipse of the moon and anything bad happening or anything like that. But what is meant by Jumiya Shamsu wal Qamar? And the sun and the moon are joined. It's the same thing. Just like the moon is eclipsed, the sun will lose its, all the light and everything, the power that sun has. So that will be happening. And that will happen later. See, these are the stages of the coming towards the end of the time. both the sun and the moon will be thrown in the sea, or they will be in some kind of a, ditch, so that they will totally, both of them will be gone. And there will be a new order. There will be a new order in the universe. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another place, وَأَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا. And Allah, all the light will shine from Allah's nur. And Allah's arsh should be brought here, so that there will be a day of judgment and people will be judged. So the whole order that people know about will disappear of the universe, and there will be new order. Allah's arsh will be brought, and وَأَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا, and the whole, everything will shine with the Allah's nur. And then the next ayah says, يَقُولُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ أَيْنَ الْمَفَرُّ. You see? And here insan means the kafir, those who denied the truth. Man means the kafir will say on the day, where is the place of escape? Where is the place of escape? Where all of a sudden there will be desert, with their vision will be desert. There they will see all these changes, the sun and the moon disappearing, all that, and then the arsh of Allah, will come here, and the day of judgment is going to be established, and they will try to escape, but there is no escape. There is no escape. Where is the escape? The next ayahs will continue regarding that escape, that there is no such escape and everything. So this is what the the summary of what we talked about today, and I cannot go that much in detail like Sheikh did, but what he explained to us that all these scientists and especially the atheists, they want us to believe, and then majority of people in Europe and America now also are becoming atheists, except a few people who are holding on to some of their religious beliefs and they still believe in God. But most of the people and the science, they try to bring out theories, and he mentioned one of the theory, Darwin's, and all these scientists, and especially, if they come up with these theories, they want to stick to them because somebody did that. And these theories are only theories. The truth is only when someone tells you who is reliable, like the Sheikh explained, that if you rely on your own basira, which Allah has given to every person, every person has be given, and basira, then you will probably not go wrong, and you will be able to tell the truth. But what you are doing is you are getting the second hand, whatever the people are telling you. And science doesn't mean that the religion Islam is against the science. But when you take the Allah out of science, then it's a dangerous thing. You see? So here, like Sheikh explained very good on the day, on Friday khutbah, that the haya means really that Allah is watching us. So how we should behave, our behavior should be based on that one. Alam tara anna Allah yara. Don't you know that Allah is watching us? And he mentioned about the ihsan. When Jibreel alayhi salam came, Hadith Jibreel, he asked what is Islam, what is Iman, and then he asked what is ihsan. And Rasulullah sallam replied that you worship Allah as if you are seeing, which is difficult. So, but at least you know that Allah is seeing you. And worship is not just, when you're doing the prayer. No, worship is 24/7. It means, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. In the jinn and insan are created so that they worship Allah. So worship means to be obedient to Allah. And if Allah, you know that Allah is watching you, then you are going to be careful, you know. But when you take this from this equation, Allah out, which most of the kuffar are doing, and mushrikeen, you know. I mean, mushrikeen, they believe in Allah, but they associate someone. But we are talking mainly about kafirun and the atheists, all right? And they, you know, mushrikeen to the extent the thing is that they don't believe in Allah's full power, absolute power. So this is the gist of what I'm trying to say, is that if we know that Allah is watching us and that is the truth, and He knows what goes on in our heads and everything, you know, it's completely, He knows inside out us, you know. So then we are going to be careful how we behave on this earth and try to please Allah so that we become successful in the hereafter and we go to Jannah. If we try to displease Allah, then we cannot receive Allah's mercy, which is the main goal for all the people. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakumullah khair. Amir, do you want to make any comments, inshallah? Yeah, I know, and especially I know in this topic you yeah. I know your triggers.
There's so many things.
The microphone for him, inshallah.
Bismillah, jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah. There are actually a couple of things that came to my mind regarding this, especially when people talk about evolution and the process of non-creation or no creation and those sort of things, and then they make up stories about it, you know. At one end, people say that scriptures are a bunch of stories, but then in contrast to that, what they bring is bigger stories, which have no proof anyways. So I was reading something yesterday about the vision. SubhanAllah, it's amazing. There are some studies which recently found that the way our pupils dilate, usually we understand that, you know, it's because of light. When too much light comes in, pupils don't dilate, they actually contract. But if there's not enough light and you want to see, the pupils dilate so more light can come in. Now they're doing research, well actually they just found out, and there have been studies before that it's more than that. It's not just light. It's other things as well. So there's more software to it. For example, in this case, in this study, they said our eyes, our pupils react to the number of things we see. So if there are 12 people here, and I'm looking at them, my pupils would dilate to make sure everybody can see. Right? And this is not in terms of light. So this is not sophisticated. You understand? There's evolution, which is a gradual process, right? Something starts from very simple and then it increasingly becomes complex. Now this is something complex already there. So our eyes, because of if there's only one person, they probably might not dilate that much. But if there are 20 people, I'm trying to look at them, my pupils will try to accommodate the entire picture. It's so amazing.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
And
so
how is that, and what gives the signal and so forth?
Yeah. I mean, it's like there has to be a software there, right?
Yeah.
With the hardware, there has to be a very awesome software there, which specifically looks at the numbers, not the colors, not anything else, not the patterns or the shapes, number of things. It's very important to understand number of things. It's not that the arrangement of things, no. They try to put different clusters in different shapes and it didn't have that kind of effect. It had the same effect. If they change the numbers, only then the dilation changed.
Subhanallah.
So it's the number. So there has to be some object recognition, intelligence in our brain to figure out things are there and there's a particular number of things. Now subhanAllah, this all sounds so amazing, right? When I read this, I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It increases our belief, right? Mm-hmm. By default, this is our reaction. But then you come to the other part of the story where they try to link it with evolution. What they're trying to say is,
Because in earlier evolutionary process, beings, organisms, wanted to know how much enemy there was and how many food sources there are. So their eyes became optimized to look at the numbers. I mean, that's pure nonsense. I mean, if I want to look at the enemy, I want to make sure where they are coming from, not how many they are. It doesn't matter, is there 100 in front of me? If there's only 2, one in the front, one in the back, I'll be more concerned. Right? Just simple. It's just simple. If that is my goal, then I would put an eye on the back, because that's much more important than putting all in the front, right? I need eyes in the back, but there are no eyes in the back. How do you explain that? So you're coming up with baseless stories. Come on. 5-year-old can do better. So the thing comes back to it.
And they probably give it a law, some kind of a...
Yeah, no, then they would be like, this is because of this process. Then they would make processes
give it a label.
Yeah, make stories more interesting.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, if you look at the core of the issue, why does a person do this? Why is a person willing to believe in nonsense against rationality and logic and something that makes so much sense? Everything fits in place. Why wouldn't you choose it? Are you crazy? Yes, you're crazy because you want to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal. The fujuraha is a very important there. In the ayah, I was amazed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that. Because that is the issue, really. The underlying issue, as they say, the underlying health condition is such and such and such. The underlying health condition with the disease of human beings is we want to do what we want to do. That is the issue, I think. That is what I gather, at least from this current day and age. Everybody wants to do whatever they want to do. I used to think because somebody becomes an atheist or agnostic because maybe they learned something in science and it made more sense to them. The more I talk to people, the more I try to find out is a lot more, has nothing to do with science. Has to do with psychology. The human psychology, I want to do what I want to do. Don't stop me, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I want to do something absurd. I want to do something insane. I want to do something which is beyond animalistic, and I should be able to do it without consequences. That is the issue. So you make up things, and you personally make up things, then you as a community agree on something absurd, and then you make it Allah, as you just said. So may Allah protect us from it in our personal lives. When we are thinking only for ourselves and others and people who are responsible, we are responsible for our families, our communities. May Allah protect us from this kind of behavior.
And the science is being developed
Yeah.
to entertain this and feed it even more.
Correct. And the whole metaverse movement that is going on.
Yeah.
There's now you don't have to talk to people physically, and you don't have to talk to the version of a person that you're talking to. You can change the person you're talking to. They can have now a different face. You can choose your own avatar. You can choose your own voice. You can choose the voice of the person you're talking to. You can change the environment where you're talking to them. You can actually change how they react to you. And you can say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do. It's just beyond. I'm scared of what the consequences of this kind of movement are. Now that Facebook is called Meta. This is what I'm trying to get at. Metaverse. It's different from universe.
The name, the changes.
Yeah.
Matt.
Meta.
Yeah, but it's from the word from death.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What would be the meaning in Hebrew?
Allahu A'lam.
Yes, it is probably death. Death of the world.
Subhanallah.
Death of reality.
Some people are relating it to positions on the benzene ring. Benzene ring it's like hexa. So one position is ortho, next one is meta, and the third one is para. So you cannot. This position is taken now, meta, so it's empty.
Who has the time to come up with this nonsense?
It has been for a long time. Ortho, meta, para, OMP.
Really?
So benzene ring is like the benzene.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Common
It's a common compound.
organic. So it's like hexa and has regular.
Yeah, okay, got it. So it's a geometrical shape.
It's a lot of compounds have benzene ring in them. Most of the, natural medicines and all that has benzene ring in it. So it's like a electron going in, circling. It's very interesting. It's just, but somebody just wrote that Meta is taken, the position has been.
Now we have to choose something else.
And then they said there is a company called Meta too.
There is a company called Meta, yes. They make computers.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until I read this thing. And somebody said benzene ring Meta position is gone.
People have so much time to do play and games. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the life of this world as play and games. And this is what's going on. I was reading about a fruit, the durian fruit. It smells so bad, it tastes weird. And there's a big demand for it in the world right now. Durian fruit. It's grown in Malaysia right now, a lot in Malaysia because the environment permits it. But it is banned in Malaysia.
It almost looks like a jackfruit.
Yeah, and it smells so bad. If I open it here,
And why the need for it now?
why the need for it? Curiosity, challenge, fun. When I eat it and try it out, what is it like? Because it's famous for either people hate it or love it. You cannot have a middle position with this.
So guava, used to grow wide, wherever we grew up, so it was free. It's $5 a pound.
The point I'm trying to make is now the eating of fruit has become a game. And there's so much demand for it, even the Malaysian government is involved in producing it now. So the government is competing with local farmers because there's so much demand, they want to make money. And it's just so weird. Even the Chinese, Thailand royal family is involved in the whole thing too.
يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه.
I mean, they said, what is this?
What brought the interest?
Because of the fruit is that tourism, maybe people are eating and posting videos about it on social media. That
Is there a famous program of cooking?
no, it's not that. It's not that systematic. No.
Okay.
We are people of nonsensical culture now. There's no system to it anymore. I'm sorry, I'm using harsh words.
So like we should,
I'm sorry, Jazakallah. Yeah, right.
Maybe similar to that.
I know maybe somebody would give a social media challenge that you can eat this fruit,
Right.
and it would be a weird fruit. So I mean that's how they create the demand for something. It's just I don't know this playing games.
There might be some other events, maybe in TV or something like that. That sparked the interest.
No. It's
That triggered the interest.
it's much more
Like for example,
benign than that.
when you see a famous person having
Correct.
a good sunglass, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
you go ahead and hunt for that.
Correct.
Whatever it is.
Right.
Something like that I'm saying,
Not that. This unfortunately does not fall into that kind of way. This is the weird thing. Subhanallah. Anyways. Jazakallah.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
I have a question.
Yes.
Reference to your tafsir, when you discussing just now, you mentioned about what the brother was talking in the Jummah yesterday, shyness or Ara.
حياء.
Yeah, okay. You said there's a hadith that says you have to protect what's in your head and your tummy.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on the head? Is it the intellect that you protect or
Yes.
what's in? I mean, what kind of...
Yeah. أن تحفظ الرأس وما عوى, to protect the head and what's in it, what's contained. And as you said, the main thing is the brain. Okay? So, if you are aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what goes on in your brain, what goes on in your brain is thoughts. But there are two kinds of thoughts. Thoughts that comes to you, and thoughts and what you do with it. And thoughts that you yourself bring about, right? Consciously. So that which comes to you, that you have no hand in it, which happens, which we call it waswas shaitan and waswas nafs too, the waswasa from shaitan, that comes to you, you cannot help that. It comes to you. But what you can help is what you can do with it, how you entertain it. You push it away, or you invite more of it, and so forth. Okay? So that is a protection of what the head contains. Okay, so when you are aware that Allah is seeing you and knowing what's happened within yourself, that is shyness. That's what haya is. So protect what's in your head, to protect what's in your stomach, meaning what you eat, and your private part. Okay, and be aware always and be conscious that the day of judgment is coming near. Yes.
Is also haya could be looked at, for example, having haya on respecting the Quran and Sunnah or the Sharia.
Yes.
Because if someone violates that, do not believe in it, then su'al haya is there.
Yes.
So, haya should encompass, I think, all of that, I think.
Yeah. Yes, and just for Brother Abu Mustafa, in the hadith there is an end to it, an extra point. The extra point is ترك الدنيا وزينتها.
Yes.
To let go with the dunya, and it is ornaments.
Yes.
Okay, it's ornament. We don't go after the beauty of this dunya that is extra, that does not mean anything. The waste and beauty. So that is part of haya as well. Okay, that is you have shyness in a way of why would you accumulate things that you don't need at all? Okay, just for the beauty of it and so forth. Wallahu a'lam. Wa iyyakum.
Is the word haya also related to a life, Shaykh Muhammad? Al-haya,
Yeah, you
something
can
like
say
that?
that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that-
Well, if you don't have a haya, then you're dead.
Yes.
I mean, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you don't have haya, do as you wish.
Yes. See that?
That could be a warning or a description. Meaning that if you have haya, if you do not have haya, there is nothing will stop you from doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Right.
Nothing will stop you.
Right.
Or do as you wish, meaning you'll see what's going to happen.
Well, this is what they call freedom here.
Yeah. yeah.
They like to do what they want to do,
Yeah, there is a story about one great scholar, okay, who before he became a scholar, I forgot his name. He was, a drunken person, this and that, right? And he was passing by one of the Sahaba after Rasulullah from the Tabi'een.
Yes.
Okay, and they were describing him that he wore red. He was drunk and wearing red, like red abaya, red this,
Yes.
and red imama. It was a fajr like that.
Yes.
Okay, and he was passing by and seeing this gathering. He said, "What is this?" Okay, and he was drunk, and they told him, "This is, someone who is telling us about the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." So he pushed people and went in front of him. He said, "Tell me. Tell me for what you have." So he said, he quoted him the hadith. Okay? If you do not have haya, then do as you wish. He got embarrassed.
Yes.
Okay? He said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you do not have haya, do as you wish.
See that?
So, yes, exactly.
Yes.
So actually he went home,
That was a
took a
turning
shower,
point.
changed his clothes and came and sat.
That was a turning point
And
in his
that
life.
was the turning point in his
Subhanallah.
life. Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Was this Usman al-Thawri when?
He became a Muslim?
He was a Muslim.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a Muslim. Yeah.
I was just thinking about one of the Thawri, Sufyan al-Thawri, or someone who was a thief, and he heard someone one night reading.
نعم. ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله.
So that probably made change the entire lifestyle.
Yes.
Come back to Allah.
Yes. وإياكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك